Now, in case of solid, in the first figure, let us say we have a rubber. We have a rubber here in this picture, and upper plate, we have a upper plate which is fixed with the top level of the rubber, and we have a lower plate which is fixed with the lower level of the rubber. Now, lower level is fixed, which is not subjected to any force initially, and upper plate is applied force F in this direction. This force is F in this direction. Because of this force F, this is a rubber, this rubber gets deformed, and depending on the magnitude, if this force is small, in that case what happens, if this force F is removed, it will regain its original position, and if this force is applied, it gets deformed, and this deformation can be measured with this angular deformation, let us say it is alpha, right. And alpha is the measurement of shear strain. We have already studied this thing in mechanics of solid, that angular deformation is measured with the help of this angle, and this angle is known as a shear strain. So, because of this F, we have a shear stress, force divided by tangential area. This shear stress produces the shear strain, and in mechanics of solid we have studied that shear stress is proportional to shear strain in case of solid, and this shear strain remain fixed over the time, whether you observe it after 10 seconds, after 20 seconds, after 30 minutes, this alpha will remain constant and it is independent of time. But in case of the liquid, had it been filled with liquid, then liquid would have been continuously flowing, and this upper plate would have been moving continuously, because fluid can't resist shear stress. In case of solid, this can resist the shear stress, that is why this force is not causing it to achieve some velocity. This force is just distorting the shape of the solid. So, with the help of the second figure, we can appreciate it further. This is the tau, which is the called shear stress, and because of this tau, we have a corresponding shear strain, and shear stress is proportional to shear strain, and alpha is independent of time. So, let us summarize what is the difference between solid and fluid. In case of fluid, under the application of shear stress, they starts flowing. This is the property by which the fluid is differentiated with solid. In case of solid, under the application of shear stress, solid can resist shear stress, and the shear strain is independent of time. Now, after studying the concept of difference between solid and the fluid, in case of fluid, we can further subdivide into two categories. One is known as the liquid and one is known as the gases. Both is grouped into category of the fluids. We will discuss the concept of continuum, because in case of gases we have molecules. So, there is need to understand, in between molecules we have a void. So, can we have some property which can be defined for the space and time? Now, suppose somewhere we have molecules, so their density is different, somewhere we have a void, so density is different. So, what is the concept of continuum? Whatever equations we are going to develop in our subsequent discussion, those are based on the concept of continuum. If continuum concept is not applicable, in that case the subsequent lectures discussion cannot be applied. Those analysis can be done with the help of molecular structure theory or molecular theories. Now, why we can consider that gas or liquid may be treated as a continuum? What is continuum? The hypothetical distribution of mass over the volume is called continuum. Like in the room we are studying this subject, it is filled with gas. Let us say we have a 20 kg gas here. Now, this 20 kg gas is assumed to be uniformly distributed over this room, right. So, we can find out the density, and that density is applicable at any point. At whatever point you go, you will find that density remains same. And this continuum concept is considered correct because of this reason, that in case of gases the molecular density is in the range of 2.7 into 10 raised to 25 molecules per meter cube. So, in 1 meter cube volume we have 2.7 into 10 raised to 25 molecules. So, number of molecules are very large. So, we can assume that mass is uniformly distributed over the control volume. Now, since this mass is function of the volume and volume is function of the length, so we have defined Knudsen number, which is written as Kn, K subscript n is equal to lambda over L, where lambda is known as mean free path and L is known as characteristic length. Suppose in this room we have a length, we have a height, we have a width also. So, you can take any characteristic length, and if you know the mean free path, what is mean free path? Mean free path is known as the average distance between two successive collision of the molecule is called mean free path. So, mean free path divided by the characteristic length is known as Knudsen number. So, if Knudsen number is less than 0.01, the fluid is considered as a continuum, right. So, whatever we are going to discuss in our subsequent lecture, in those cases the Knudsen number is less than 0.01. If Knudsen number is different than this, means greater than 0.01, then the subsequent lectures theory is not applicable. So, what is concept of continuum? That hypothetically distribution of the mass over the control volume is called continuum, and whatever equations we are going to develop in case of mechanics of fluid, those are developed on the basis of assumption that continuum concept holds good. For that, Knudsen number must be less than 0.01.